Patrick, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Difficult tournament up to this point for you, but you were just simply not giving up, and finally it paid off for you. Tell us about your initial feelings after this victory.
Well, it feels really nice, of course. I mean, it's much better than being a punching bag, I'll tell you. And being on the other side of the punching is better. And I feel like it was a pretty good game. I mean, I'd need to check it, of course, with the engine, but I think the position out of the opening was pretty good for me, and I didn't feel like I ever lost the thread.
No, and I really like this moment when he took on e3, and you could have taken with the knight and have a normal position.
This is theory to take with the...
Oh, this is still theory.
Yeah, this is still theory. The theory here is very interesting. Like, this position is known, but it's not very well worked out. So the Alapin is like that. It's really, really kind of fascinating to me. It's very complicated. It's like you've entered some alternate universe.
Because not a lot of people play it, right? Maybe.
No, although I've noticed that some, like Nepomniachtchi has been playing it some, and people are starting to play it. But I mean, there's lots and lots of games with it, and there's lots of theory, but it hasn't somehow been fully worked out. And so a very strong player like Igor, I didn't know how well prepared he would be. I knew if I played against his Najdorf, he'd be very well prepared.
Right.
So I figured this was probably a better idea. I knew that he played something like these systems in the games I found on him. So I figured probably something. I had no idea how well prepared he'd be, but I think it goes to show someone as strong as Igor, as well prepared as he generally is, didn't seem to really know how to play the opening.
That's right.
Which gives you an idea sort of how tricky
this can be.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
No, and it does seem like you already have some sort of an advantage, and I have to say, this long castle, queen e4, very forceful moves, very concrete moves.
Well, what's really interesting about this position is there's two ideas, and you really have to work both of them simultaneously. So one is, of course, the attack against the king, but the other is there are a lot of endgames that are very good.
Right.
And so this is actually like the secret to this position somehow is like you have to be willing to take the endgame, and you have to use that.
Perhaps something like this.
Yeah. I mean, oftentimes, whenever you can trade the queens in a pretty good, like oftentimes this knight versus the light square bishop is really bad. Yeah, the c6 pawn is really bad. You've got the d file. So long as you sort of hold control, it should be generally pretty good. And so of course queen e4 pokes g6, right? So now there's this big weakness, and now queen f4, and now maybe this was not the best move. I don't know. I saw the eval bar go down, but
I like it.
But well. The computer knows better than all of us.
Maybe. Queen f4, by the way, it's the best move.
Oh, okay, well, that's
good.
The best move. But now, like, he has a very difficult choice, right? He can go into the endgame, but that's a really painful endgame to play.
Yep.
Or he can move the queen away, but now he's created this big weakness with g6. So now the attack is always going to be much stronger.
Yeah. And...
well, how was bishop c2? Is that a good move?
Yes. No, bishop c2 is fine. Best move in the position.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, opening up the d file, maybe hinting at knight d6, very nice.
Oh, so I thought b4 was that's interesting.
Yes.
Hard move to play.
I don't believe in it too much.
That's interesting. I wondered about b4. I couldn't bring myself to do it, and h4 just seems so natural.
And if you go queen g5, you have to understand that this endgame is just like really, really bad for black. Right?
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
But h4, I mean, kind of plays itself almost, right?
Well, yeah, so e5 was a mistake, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, it's so difficult to play this position with black, right? It's so difficult because the best moves still leave you with a very bad position, and it's very natural to try to get active. But the thing is, actually, my knight is very strong. Well, I mean, of course, taking on d6 has to be correct, right? Yes. Like to give this exchange. I mean, his dark squares are terrible.
Nothing else. You're kind of forced to play the best moves at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And then the knight but that knight was really a hero, right? It went knight a3, c4, e5, c6, d8.
d8.
So
yeah.
I thought that was very funny.
No, indeed. Tell us a bit about your routine, because I've been seeing you quite a few times at the gym. You're working out. Tell us about your routine.
I'm 55 years old. I wouldn't call it working out. I would call it trying to just stay healthy and be active. But yeah, I like to go to the gym in the morning. I try to stay fit. It's very good for tournaments. Very good just sort of to wake yourself up. And, and then I just try to prepare. I mean, I like to think of myself a little bit like Rip Van Winkle. I mean, I've been asleep for 20 years and I've come back, and a lot's changed, and I'm trying really, really hard to catch up. And somehow, like, sometimes I have like opening knowledge like in my computer, but it's not actually in my brain.
Yeah.
So I'm trying as hard as possible to like put it in my brain.
Do you do any coaching on the side? Do you help some of the juniors at all, or?
I haven't, although it's something that I think would be nice to do. I don't teach professionally, but I really don't do anything in chess professionally. But you know, I mean, it would be nice to be a mentor, but quite frankly, I'm looking at the juniors here, and I don't think they need my help.
They're so good. They're really good.
They're really good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're so. By the way, what on earth was that game that finished really quickly?
We saw you looking at.
What was going on? What was that? Is
some
that theory?
insane preparation. No, some insane preparation from Jason Liang. Yeah.
Was that new?
Like 35 moves of theory. Abhimanyu came with the novelty, but he was ready for the novelty. 35 moves deep, basically.
Holy, you see? Like, maybe they'll mentor me. That would be nice.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Patrick.
Thank you.
Guys,
Thank you.
any questions?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Patrick, congratulations.
Thank you.
Very nice fighting game. I'm curious, a few days back you had this game with Alex Shabalov where you sacrificed the piece and then it didn't work out. Today you sacrificed again, this time an exchange. How did that feel? Did you think about that previous game, or did it not cross your mind?
Yeah, that game was painful. It's interesting. One thing I've noticed as I've come back is part of what I need to do is get it back into the rhythm, right? Max and I were having dinner the other night. He was talking about how for him he had to get back into the rhythm, and part of it is using your time. But part of it, I think, is managing the emotions and the energy of the game. And there's an old expression, maybe you've heard it, when you see a move, sit on your hands, right? And there might be a better one. And so this game against Alex, well, bishop h6 was the right idea, but it was the wrong move. The right move in the position is queen e3. And then when black goes king h7, then bishop takes h6, bishop takes 6, g5. And in that position, all three results are possible, right? And what happened in that game is I played the opening poorly. Alex just outplayed me. But I still had an okay. I think he missed like one shot to have a really big advantage, and then I still had a normal position, but I felt under a lot of pressure. And when he castled, I thought, oh my gosh, this is my chance. But I didn't think, right? This is an incredibly important moment in the game, and I should have just thought more carefully, and I didn't. And afterwards, I realized like part of what I need to sort of get back into and manage. It's not just the opening preparation. It's also just the rhythm and the emotions. So to answer your question, this time, sacrificing the exchange, well, of course, it's much easier when you have a good position to start with. And I think I did a much better job of just sort of like thinking carefully, bishop c2, like I had a long think, queen e4, queen f4, like these moments I took, I think, the right amount of time and was able to figure out good moves. And for bishop d6, I didn't see it all the way out to the end, but I saw rook takes d6, queen takes, and h5, and I analyzed that enough, and I just figured, this has to be really good. So it felt very different, and I think I did a better job. But of course, I was helped by the fact that I got a good position out of the opening.
Our congratulations
Thank you.
once again, as we have two results in